We have a very small crowd tonight. According to AT&T, the time is now 6:03 p.m. So we will call the meeting to order. Just so you know who's present, I'm here with Loretta in person, as well as your manager. We have one member sitting in the audience. We have a police officer present, and we have Mr. Baginski and his partner and a video camera from them as well. And that is the extent of who is present this evening.
I'm not attending the first meeting. I'll attend the second.
Okay. Mr. Baginski. All right. We're going to start with the Yes.
I wanted to ask if Mr. Joseph Terdui Eddie is present with us.
Okay. No?
No, he's not here yet.
Not yet.
Okay, all right.
All right, I guess we'll start in the order of the agenda. First up is the notice of the reconvened special meeting of the membership, which was noticed for 6 o'clock. We're going to certify the quorum and call it to order. I'm going to go ahead and just lead us. Your management company has prepared a very detailed spreadsheet, which I'm going to go ahead and read, I guess, out loud for those of you watching and or listening. At present, there are a total of 312 eligible units to vote at the Venetia. Come on in. Don't be shy. We just called it to order. So there's 312. We are joined by the lovely member from the design committee. Nice to see you.
How are you?
Good.
Sorry I'm late.
There are 312 eligible units to vote, so therefore we would need a 75% vote on the two pending items, or a total of 234 votes. Management advises that at present we received a total of 254 votes, of which 241 voted to support the media board, which is more than 75%. So that vote has passed. And we received a total of 237 votes in support of the hallway renovation project, which again is in excess of the 75% that we needed. Therefore, for tonight's purposes, the new business that has been pending for the past two meetings has passed by a vote of the membership. We've got in excess of 75% on both of those items. Does anybody have any questions?
When do we start?
When do we start? I'll leave that for the board. I can't, or the management. I can't answer that.
Oh, actually, I do have a question. Well, go ahead, answer this.
I'm going to help tear up the old carpet.
The question was, when do we start? I don't think we have a definite plan. What I've heard is as quickly as possible, but I'm not aware of a start date at this time.
Sharon, I think you could probably tell us more, but obviously we've had a huge number of expenses, so the money.
I think as soon as possible, and this is the top of agenda item for me.
Okay, so go ahead.
Anything else, Sharon? No?
Except all parties are eager to begin.
Okay. Mr. Baginski, you had a question about this?
Yes, I have, well, a couple of questions and a comment. One,
Do you want to come, so people can hear you, do you want to come up and you
Sure.
say it into the mic?
Of course. The design committee, I asked for document requests. I said, when did the design committee meet? When were the meetings noticed? And I was provided absolutely nothing. So I'm a little concerned that we have a design committee that passed recommendations and the unit owners didn't have the opportunity to attend because they weren't told about the meetings to participate. Yet you're adopting their recommendations, I believe. So isn't that like somewhat of an issue that nobody was allowed to attend legally that could attend and weigh in and provide? That's one thing. The other thing is I also asked some document requests regarding the media board, and I said, we have no information on this. You're telling me attorney-client privilege for a contract, so we basically voted on this thing blindly, even though I asked for these things in document requests and was provided absolutely nothing.
That concludes your question?
Yes, for this item, yes.
Okay.
For these two.
With regard to the document requests, I believe you're well-versed in how to prepare and present them, and there are multiple ones pending, and we will continue to deal with those through the statutory procedure. As far as the vote is concerned, you know, more than 75% of your neighbors have voted in favor of these items, and legally, we believe that they have passed, and we will move forward with them. Are there any further questions? Okay. Then I kind of skipped over this, but I assume that the meeting was properly posted and for this evening and submitted? Okay, the manager has affirmatively said that. We do not have any reading and disposal of unapproved minutes because we've been reconvening the meeting twice. So after tonight, we'll go ahead and prepare the minutes that can be ratified for tonight. So unless there's anything further on those particular items, we're going to go ahead and adjourn the unit owner meeting, and we're going to move on to the Board of Directors meeting, which was noticed to start immediately thereafter. First on the agenda is the certifying of quorum. We have Loretta Alcalay, the Vice President, in person, and Sharon Dodge by speakerphone. So we have a quorum. Once again, I assume the proof of notice of meeting was properly posted for this evening? Yes, but and I know they were posted together, so if one was posted, this one was posted. That takes us to the new business. Number one, general business. Would either of the board members like to address any general business items at this time?
I don't have anything. That's not on the agenda.
Sharon, do you have any items not on the agenda you would like to address under general business? Sharon, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Now I do.
Okay.
Do you have any items not listed on the agenda that you would like to address as general business?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Not at this time.
All right. Number two was the vote on the resolution related to director's disclosure. That was actually previously voted on, so I believe. So I don't think that we need to vote again. Number three was the ratification and approval of the decision of the design committee. That was also done at the previous meeting, so since this is a reconvened meeting, we don't need to go back and repeat the past. And that takes us to number four, which is the discussion on recent casualty caused by contractor and issues with City of Miami involving same.
Okay, Sharon, he's not here to do the timeline. Did you want to just briefly go over that?
Yeah, I think we can. I think, is Rick there?
Not at this time, so if you want to start and give an overview, you can. It's a discussion
Yeah, I
item.
will. I can explain that the incident occurred on a Labor Day morning. I believe the time was around 9:30 when I was contacted. So I don't know, relative to the time that I was contacted, exactly when the AC contractor was replacing an air conditioning unit in an individual unit owner's hall closet. Actually slid the unit out, dropped it, hitting a relatively new cutoff valve to the chillers. It broke off the valve on the 11th floor, flooded individual unit owners, and then proceeded down to the 10th floor, and of course caused a great deal of damage and chaos to people who were, most of them, inhabiting their units. Several of whom came out and began using shop vacs or towels and brush, a really very large amount of water. But I observed when I got there, they'd already done quite a bit of it, and there was still an inch of water on the floor. AC installations are treated warmest part of the year as emergency installations, just because we view it, and when people experience that, we view it as an emergency when people do not have AC during the months of July, August, or October, because of the extremely humid and hot conditions. And so for that reason, the management office allows licensed contractors to replace units on a as-time available basis. So that is between working hours of 9 and 5 on a Sunday, on a Saturday, on a holiday, and by preparing your paperwork and your vendor's, you can have your AC unit installed, repaired, serviced, so you have uninterrupted AC. Standard operating. And what happened in this cascading, not only cascading water event, but a cascading physical plant series of mishaps, that this same very large amount of water, and by the way, you know, with this holiday, happened to be in the building taking care of people he has some interest in, extra time. And he was available.
Sharon, are you the adjuster? Oh, okay.
Sharon?
I'm the insurance agent.
Oh, okay.
Just to let you know that Mr. Sardui,
Yes, sir.
the insurance agent has just joined us as well.
You know, I have a feeling that his succinct account will make you all very much happier than my ad nauseum narrative. So, Eddie, can I turn this over to you? I have simply explained now that the initial accident, the vendor who flooded it out, dropped it on the chiller valve, and flooded the 11th floor, affecting unit owners' places as well as our hallways down to the 10th floor. And I was about to begin to explain the travel of the water down to our main transformer and into the vault, and also to talk about the failures in the emergency system that should have been in place to at least preserve some measure of safety and comfort to our unit owners. So if you'll take it from here, I would much appreciate it.
Sure. Eddie, they're streaming this on the web for the owners. I'm going to pass you the mic, not so much to amplify for the audience,
Okay.
but for the people watching.
Okay. Testing. Can everyone hear me? I haven't used a mic in a while.
It's not a real mic, it's really for the internet.
For the internet, okay. Essentially, to go along with what Sharon was saying, you know, this event happened on September 3rd. It was caused by an AC contractor, Central Plus, which was approved to come into the building and swap out a unit, an AC unit, for an individual unit owner on the 11th floor. And then due to their failure to use the proper safety procedures that are needed in swapping out an AC unit, what happened was when they were removing the old unit, they didn't have the proper bracing in the event that it slipped, and it did slip. And the bracing wasn't there, so therefore it broke a main water line. And then that created the flood, which Sharon was saying, affected all the floors downward, from the 11th. The water was so great that not only did it do cosmetic and damage to the hallways and flooring and drywall, but it also got into the electrical systems of the building, which then ended up affecting the entire building by taking out the electricity and the air conditioning, and then it just went on and it kind of mushroomed from that point, becoming a elevator issue, a AC issue due to the lack of electricity. And then once all this happened, the city came in for safety reasons, and that's the reason that all of the unit owners and business owners, had to suffer, the loss of use of their units, on top of, the damages. The damages that were caused by the event are being covered by insurance companies. The individual unit owners that do not have their own insurance company will be able to seek reimbursement for their loss of unit, as well as any property damages that they have on their units from the insurance company of Central Air Plus, which is the contractor who's accepting 100% of the responsibility for this event. And I have, their information in case anybody needs it, regarding that. The way these claims work, essentially, is if you have your own policy for your unit, you should report it to your own insurance company, and then they will basically guide you along the claim regarding the repairs and loss of use, and then they will subrogate against the insurance company of the AC contractor to have their loss reimbursed after they reimburse you. If you're a unit owner who does not have insurance, then I also have the information and claim number for the AC contractor's insurance company. And the adjuster has already come out here numerous times and is available, at the convenience of any unit owner for him to come and survey your unit and settle with you with your individual losses in the event that you do not have insurance. What I can tell you is that due to the incredible efforts of the association and the management, they acted very quickly, because this event could have been much, much worse. They brought in a crisis expert within 3 to 5 days to deal with the regulatory agencies and the city to avoid a potential catastrophic scenario where they would have actually possibly shut the building down. So due to their moves and the quick action taken by them, we were able to mitigate and minimize this catastrophic event, because the claims, just in the common areas for the building, are exceeding, $250,000 at this point. If there's any bright side to this, is that the Central AC company is insured by an A+, very strong company. They also have an umbrella liability, and we're going to be able to push all of these losses through their carrier, because at the end of the day, the association is also looking out for their own insurance company, because as well, as you all must know, once you have claims with your insurance company and it comes time to renew, they will increase your premiums. So we don't want to have an increase in premium for the association policy, which will then affect the unit owners, obviously, for something that was not the association's fault in any way or any manner, nor was it obviously in the unit owner's fault. So we're looking at this thing from 2 angles. One is to get everybody reimbursed, everybody recuperate their losses, but then at the same time, going forward, the next 3 to 5 years, we don't want this community to have to incur any additional insurance expenses due to an accident, that was caused by a third party, who's taken 100% responsibility for it, is properly insured for it. So we're expecting to get 100% of the reimbursement at the end from this company, so it does not affect the record of the association and obtaining insurance in the future. If anybody has any questions regarding this, I'd be happy.
I do. I'm a little concerned about the whole thing, because in the condo docs, it says that you won't be doing this type of work before 10 o'clock in the morning. And then it says that in the declaration, so, which didn't occur, it occurred before 10. Additionally, inside the rules and regulations of the building, it says that we won't be doing this stuff on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. At least that's how I read it. Additionally, when I looked at the thing that the air conditioning guy initialed, saying that he wouldn't do work on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays, or before 10 o'clock in the morning. So although he's willing to take full responsibility for this going forward, we had an issue where we had no management company on site, nobody on site to deal with the issue. The water gushed for 4 to 5 hours before anyone could figure out how to turn it off. And now we have a situation where we know this, so going forward, what are we going to do so that this doesn't happen again? Because it was really pretty painful for everybody involved.
I'm going to direct that.
Yeah, Sharon, I'm going to address some of that. Steve, I think we've all learned that we did not always have the best possible response plan in place. I think that the communications left much to be desired. We had a lot of complaints about how things were handled. What we're doing is two things. One, we're looking at an emergency response plan that's much more beefed up than what we had before. We're looking at, and I think Sharon's looking into, if we allow work to be done on any kind of unit that could, if things go wrong, result in something like this, imposing additional requirements. For example, having to have a maintenance engineer present, which would of course involve a cost to the unit owners. We're looking at different ways of preventing basically an accident from becoming a catastrophe. And I guess, we use the word catastrophe. Thank God no one was hurt. No one was injured, no one was killed. So really, in the scheme of things, it was a very, very unfortunate situation. But, there is a difference between tragedy and, something like what happened. If this had happened, obviously, during a hurricane, we could have been out of power for weeks and weeks and, even longer. So clearly, we have a lot of things that we need to do differently. Not because the accident was our fault, but because we could have had better procedures in place that maybe would have helped contain the accident. So we're looking at that.
But you did. You had the procedures in place of the condo docs and the rules and regulations of the building, and it didn't seem to matter, including the guy that even initialed off saying he wouldn't be doing the work on a holiday. You had it in place. The problem is you didn't follow what he signed he was going to do.
Well,
right?
Steve, I do not think that it's appropriate for people who have no AC on a weekend and on a holiday not to be able to get their units serviced. Clearly, there are emergencies, and I think a lot of people in this building would be completely insane if we told them that in the summertime they would have to wait to get their unit fixed. So we've thought, and I guess for a long time, people have been able to do emergency repairs. And sometimes you have to allow emergency repairs, but we can have procedures in place.
I would agree with you, but the guy signed the document in August.
I don't know what document he signed, so I don't...
He signed the thing saying he was going to do the work in August, and here is September 3rd. What's the emergency? I don't know.
Well, I don't know what his...
It should have been an emergency in August, right?
Steve, sometimes it's difficult to get people to come in and do work. I don't know the details of why he signed a document in August and came September 3rd. There's not that much time between August and September 3rd.
If he came on the 4th, you would have the issue where you wouldn't even have the issue at
okay,
all. You
but
would have management here to turn the water off.
No, I think the way it was broke...
Our discussion is now deteriorating down to a Webster's Dictionary definition of emergency and whether or not criteria, according to Webster's, were met on the service to unit owners that allows them, in some cases, not to wait a week, not to wait 6 days. The management office, the board of directors, are not privy to the scheduling details, nor should we be. We have a building and association to run. So the discussion of whether or not a policy that we have long held to allow hot months to reliably be relieved for our unit owners is really, this discussion of whether or not that's an emergency amounts to the council's trend discussing how many angels dance on the head of a pin. It's a waste of our time, and I would really urge that we move on to a discussion of some of the maintenance issues that we were unaware of, which were discovered in the course of this cascading set of events that lead us to have, really the need for a real forensic evaluation of many building systems, but without our knowledge, had probably been extremely neglected. Because that's rather more important.
Okay, so that...
Stand.
Okay, so the next issue that I was going to raise is that a lot of the problems that that were discovered and that exacerbated the initial accident are of tremendous concern to us. Why the generator stopped working after 48 hours, whether or not things that should have been fixed had been fixed. There's a lot of engineering and maintenance type issues that we have a lot of concern about. And we're working through Michael's office to do an audit that would allow us to determine whether or not other parties were responsible for the situation that we found ourselves in. And a lot of the money that we had to spend to meet code were potentially the result of the negligence of others. So we want to find that out so that we can take action as appropriate to recover our money. Would you like to add to that?
No, I think you covered it very well.
Okay, Sharon, did you want to
I think
add?
you covered it very well, Loretta. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
I have a comment that I wasn't allowed to make on a previous item you discussed, that you just glossed over.
What
Is that
comment?
okay?
If it's quick, go ahead. What is it?
The resolution on the director's disclosure, last meeting you tabled it because you didn't have Mena here, so you didn't vote on it. So now you don't have the people that you need to vote on that, so therefore I don't think it passes.
Well, we did vote on it.
Yeah.
We did, this was just ratifying, because we voted on it at a board meeting that we had.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
This,
you said you were going to vote on it. That's what it says at the meeting, it says at the last meeting.
I think
He
they're voting
tabled
to
it.
ratify.
they're right. They're ratifying a resolution that was passed at a prior Board of Directors meeting. We can take it up at another time. It's certainly not an
It has to
emergency.
be
It's certainly not
ratified.
as important as the casualty discussion.
Right, but it's important to me.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Before we adjourn the meeting, do any of the directors have any further comments you'd like to make?
Sharon, did you want
I
to?
would say, Loretta, if you have something, please.
No, Sharon, I thought you were going to raise something. But that's okay if
Um,
you don't.
Remind me what I was going to raise, Loretta?
So we were,
I'm sorry.
The management?
Repeat.
yeah, this
Do
is,
you want to discuss the management issue as a discussion item?
Yes, I think that's probably a good idea. At this point, we wish to enter into an announcement. We wish to make an announcement and enter into a phase of consideration of new management. By pretty much mutual agreement, Castle and Venetia, at the close of the casualty week, mutually came to the conclusion that we are still suited as management partners. At this time, until we complete a forensic review of the event and the management deficits leading up to the event, until that time, we're not going to say much more about it because there is going to be a complete external forensic engineering study done. Probably, we are evaluating a proposal to proceed with this, and I think at that time we will then address the issue of maintenance. It should have been done, which was not. Fire life safety issues possibly that were ignored, and we will take appropriate action. At the conclusion of this process, we will have a complete external report on the present physical condition of our building and its operating system. And I think that's also very positive with respect to our being able to look at what is ahead for us in a maintenance future. We all speculate, we all know there are certain requirements before the year mark, but actually this will provide the basis for a formal evaluation of what we have ahead of us. Many things came to light in the course of this week that we were unaware of, please. And we need to know. And so in a way, although this was an extremely exasperating, stressful, challenging event for everyone at the, including your board of directors, we're thankful that many of these concerns did come to light, because they're very, very important.
Loretta?
Okay, well, one of the things I thought we were going to raise was the issue of whether or not we want to be self-managed. And while we're not discussing that as a board at this point, we do invite you to submit any comments or thoughts you have on that issue.
We are very much considering that. That is correct. I meant to raise that. I really have kind of come to it reluctantly. I'd like for the association to understand that that does not mean the board of directors are managing.
Right, it's
But,
not, it's not,
that we have- Go ahead, Michael.
yeah, it's not self-management as defined by the statute, because that would mean the director is managing. I think the discussion is whether the association wants to bring in an in-house manager as opposed to have an independent contractor relationship with an outside management company.
You mean like an LCAM that you're referring to, or are you referring to all the employees?
Correct,
the
to hire a CAM directly rather than go through a management company.
And what about all the engineer and all that other stuff? How does that work?
Then
Then that
normal,
all becomes like employees of the association, is that it?
it depends. It can, or they can continue to have independent contract relationships with all of these outside companies.
Mhm.
Normally, that's more the norm than not.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions?
Under advisement by the board of directors, at this time, no decision has been made about this. So when we have more information, we will be sharing with you what our thoughts are.
One last thing, how is the castle is leaving when, or is there no date, or it's like up in the air, or whether you're gonna work it out? How's that? What does that
Mr.
mean?
Begensky's specific question is, do we have a date for the transition of castle management out of the association?
We have a tentative date. This is a mutually cooperative transition, and that date will be determined by the two parties, a little bit like a mother giving birth. Baby and the mother are part of the process.
Oh, so 9 more months.
I don't think it's going to last 9 more months. I think this will be a quicker birth.
I think that term, that term. But it will, in any event, not be sooner than December 1.
I think, yeah, that was my understanding. We're looking at rough approximately December 1st.
December 1st.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Well, then, personally, I would like to thank you. And several of you have come to every single meeting, and getting these 75% votes on material alteration and other issues are not easy. So I'm happy that we were able to do it within the 90-day window that we had from the first meeting. So without further ado, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
And I second that.
Okay.
And that will
Thank you.
pass unanimously. Everybody have a good evening and a good weekend. Thank you.